Hey everyone, my name is Justin Aristorenis. I'm an environmental professional, and today I'm going to be covering a topic that I'm asked a lot about in my inspections, and that's what type of filter should I use in my AC, what is a MERV filter, and also what is a HEPA filter. So today I'm going to be covering all those things, what a MERV filter is, what does HEPA mean, and also comparing the two to show you what actually works best for your home. So to start with the basics, MERV stands for Minimum Efficiency Reporting Value. And you don't need to know that big word. All it is a scale between 1 and 16, 1 being the least amount of filtration, 16 being the best filtration. So if you have a filter between 1 and 4, it's not going to be really filtering out much. It's going to be like rocks or even insect parts, and if you jump from like 4 to 8, which is what most homes have, it's going to be filtering out things like dust and pollen. Now, a really big jump is past 8. That's where you start to be filtering out things like fine particles, like finer dust particles, or also mold spores. And then you jump from numbers like 13 to 16, that's going to be the best. You're going to be filtering out things even like smoke or some aerosolized things, or sometimes even bacteria. So after hearing that, you're probably like questioning, why don't I just use MERV 16, the best filtration? The problem with that is you're not just restricting particles through your air, but you're restricting air itself. So a lot of the older air handling units are not as efficient. And if you use a MERV 16, it's not going to be able to pull air through the filter and could cause some issues. So a lot of times with newer ACs, that's fine to use MERV filters like 13 to 16. But with the older AC units, you need to be careful and make sure and test out what MERV filters restrict airflow and what doesn't. And you want like that fine Goldilocks zone where you're filtering out the most particles, but you're not restricting airflow for your AC system to work properly. So now let's talk about HEPA filters. HEPA filters are high efficiency particulate air. And what these filters do, they filter out 99.97% of all particles greater than zero point 0.3 microns, which is very small. That includes bacteria and viruses. And that's why hospitals use HEPA filters, because if people are getting sick in one room, those viruses and bacteria, when they cough, it's going to get pulled into the AC and get the next person sick. So a HEPA filter prevents mostly everything. And that's why they're way better than even the MERV 16. Now, the problem with HEPA filters is the same thing you run into with the higher MERV rating filters. A MERV filter is about, let's say, that thick. A HEPA filter can vary in size, but sometimes they're around this thick and causes a lot of airflow issues. So only certain air handling units can allow the installation of a HEPA filter to be used without preventing any airflow restriction. So if you're thinking about using a HEPA filter for your home, you want to consult with your AC contractor and know whether or not your AC can handle the efficiency of a HEPA filter. Secondly, there are other ways you can install a HEPA filter into your home. It doesn't need to be directly connected to your AC. A lot of times online, I see it all the time in my inspections, some people have these portable machines that they buy like on Amazon, anywhere online. There's a whole bunch of different ones. As long as it's HEPA filtered, it's getting the job done. It's pulling air in and filtering all the air through a HEPA and then pushing the air back out, and those work perfectly fine. You could set them up in your room, in your bedroom, on your nightstand, anywhere. Sometimes I see customers where they have one in every room and they work great. The problem is with those is, they're take up space, they're noisy, sometimes you can hear them, you have to change out the filter. So, what's another way that you can prevent all these cons is by installing one not underneath your AC, but you can also install it directly into your duct system. There could be a point that where all your air passes, it can also have a machine that has a motor and pulls the air through the HEPA filter, filtering out all the dust particles and mold spores in your home. So at the end of the day, when somebody asks me, what type of AC filter I should use. Should I use MERV filters? Should I use HEPA filters? The answer is pretty obvious. You want to use the best filter, and that's going to be HEPA or MERV 16. But the caveat is you have to make sure that the filter isn't restricting the airflow to your AC first. Secondly, one thing that I want to point out is as much filtration as you have in your home or installed into your AC unit, if your AC is moldy and it's dirty, that's the air after your filter. So if there's mold growing inside your AC unit, or there's also dust in there, or there could be also mold or dust inside your duct system, getting a better filter isn't going to do anything. And that's why a lot of times I come into a home, someone has a bunch of filters in their bedroom installed, but their home still smells moldy. Well, it could be coming from water damage. It could be coming from their duct system that's after the fact of the filter. So it all depends on the home. You can't get too focused on what type of filter you're using or adding all these HEPA filters into your home when the real source of the problem, like let's say mold, is coming from somewhere else.